Good evening and welcome to The Bottom Line. News about your neighborhood and its condition. News that will enable you to make informed decisions. From downtown to Dover and everywhere in between. News that reaches the residents of Wilmington and the greater Newcastle County community. News that's real, relevant. News that you can use. Yes, that's the bottom line. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. I am Nicole DeSarette, and I am excited about the program that you are about to see. It is Monday night, I was about to say December. It's October 12th, 2015. So if it's the 12th, that lets you know that October is almost halfway over. Time is going by so quickly. I feel like I should just be saying Happy New Year to you right now. It's going so quickly. Take advantage of the beautiful weather. We know it's quickly about to change, and so get out there and enjoy it to the fullest. This is a jam-packed show tonight. I'm going to tell you in advance, you want to make sure that you have paper and pencil handy. We will be talking about breast cancer awareness as well as domestic violence awareness and giving you some resources that are available right here in Wilmington. So you want to jot this information down. Maybe you need it for yourself. Maybe you know someone else who could benefit from it. So be prepared. I want to talk a little bit about something that's coming up. Actually, it's by popular demand. It is Blue Magic, featuring the Blue Notes, Vanfield Stylistic Review, and comedian Tommy Too Smooth. And they also have a DJ, JB Productions. When is it? Saturday, October 24th. Doors open at 7 p.m. and the show begins promptly at 8 p.m. It will be held at the P.S. DuPont School, located 701 West 34th Street in Wilmington. Tickets, $40 or $25 if you'd like to sit in the balcony, and if you wait to the last minute and pay at the door, more at the door. This concert will help benefit groups supporting autism, cancer, epilepsy, as well as sickle cell foundations. I was told that this show, which was held earlier in the year, was absolutely wonderful. That's why it's back by popular demand. I understand that tickets are still available. Who knows how long they will last, so you need to get your tickets right away. I said it's October 12th, and I want to share something with you about the importance of October 12th. Today is Bosom Buddies Day. Bosom Buddy Day, what is that? I have taken the liberty upon myself to designate the 12th of every month as Bosom Buddies Day. And you can remember that because there are 12 letters in the two words bosom and buddies. And it's for women who are living with breast cancer. So what I do on Bosom Buddies Day, all of the breast cancer survivors that are in my cell phone, I send them a text message, Happy Bosom Buddy Day, I hope you're well. If you need anything, give me a call, shoot me a text. So that's what I do. But then I also get on Facebook and I ask people, if you know a woman who is living with breast cancer, please reach out to them, especially today. Many people believe that when you complete that last chemotherapy treatment or that last radiation treatment, that they don't need you anymore. And that is so not true. Every woman is at a different place in their journey, and for them to hear from you, whether it's a text, whether it's a phone call, whether it's a visit, could really mean the difference between them continuing to fight or just throwing up their hands. I need women in Delaware and throughout the country to get up every morning and put on their pink boxing gloves. We fight breast cancer every single day. So many times I'll hear women, here's an example, will say to me, I don't even want to get my next mammogram done because I just don't want to know the results. That is not the stance that we need to adopt. We need to continue to fight to the best of our ability because there are other people who are watching us in our journey, and we need to be as strong as possible. So the 12th of the month, you still got a couple hours left today. If you know someone, again, living with breast cancer, just reach out. Your words of encouragement, your words of support can really, really make the difference in the life of a woman. So, happy Bosom Buddy Day to all of my LinkedIn Pink sisters. I don't want to hog up all of the time because there are other people who are waiting. We have the whole crew here tonight. I hope you enjoyed our brand new intro. Believe it or not, the bottom line is 4 weeks old today. The time's going by so quickly, it doesn't even feel like we've been on the air just a month, and the feedback has been extremely, extremely positive. Again, this is a news program about your community, so we want to hear from you. If there are some topics that you would like us to address, you can get in contact with us. You can see at the bottom of the screen our email address, bottomline28@gmail.com. And we're even keeping up with technology. You can send us a tweet at bottomline28. Send us your questions, your comments. Just let us know what you think about the show. Everybody's here. We got the captain in his seat. That's none other than State Rep Charles Potter. We have the one and only Elder Ty Johnson. Abundance Child is back in the house along with Deneen White. And Ed Johnson will be bringing up the rear with the sports section. So let's shift over to Studio B and find out what's happening in Wilmington.
Well, what's happening in Wilmington is news that you can use. Now, the bottom line is open to anyone. You can check us out on our Facebook. We're going to have a website.
Yes, sir.
We're doing a little tweeting and our Twitter account. So we want you to get involved. This is news for Wilmington, Newcastle County, Smyrna, Dover. So if you want to get on this station, just get in touch with us. I know several political people have reached out to us, and they got to reach out to Reverend Ty on the political stuff. He's going to be handling that. You know, I'll handle it in another way. But we want to make sure that this is your news station. You're not going to get direct news from the newspaper. You're not going to get it from the radio. But if you turn on to this channel right here, Channel 28, from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. every Monday, and 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. on Fridays, you're going to get news you can use and news that will help you. Today I got my co-host with me, and that's Reverend Ty. How you doing, buddy?
Thank you so much, State Rep. I'm doing super.
You doing super?
Super.
I tell you, you're going to be doing better than that because we got somebody in here special today.
I'm elated. First of all, I greet you all in the precious name of our Lord and Savior Jesus, who is the Christ, and all of the high-rise folks who pray for us, pray for Bottom Line. Listen, y'all. Right. It's right at the bottom of the screen, Bottom Line 28. Don't forget, if you can't email, get some young person to do that for you. We want to hear from you. We want to hear what you're doing. And I want to say congratulations to all of Nicole, and your pink looks good.
Oh, I was ready to tell you about the pink. It looks good, doesn't it?
Oh, man, I told my, I'm not wearing no pink. You know, but I think.
I had a pink suit I was going to wear, but that would have been too much.
I thank God that we take a moment and we just pray and celebrate those who have been victorious over breast cancer.
That's right.
This is Breast Cancer Month from what we understand. So that's what the pink is about, y'all.
And you know, we can say that cancer is one of the most devastating diseases there is, but it is beatable, and people are winning with that. They have new medications, and
I'm a cancer
it's a
survivor.
Yes, look at you.
I'm a cancer survivor.
Nicole, cancer survivor.
People prayed for us, and then, you know, the medications are changing, so. And then these folks, I'm telling you, sisters are coming back with that health segment.
Yes, the health segment.
Woohoo! So that's where you
how to eat,
how to sleep,
because you got to sleep right too.
Eat,
now.
sleep, and live.
Yes.
Eat, sleep, and live. I'm excited because my son is here. A lot of folks prayed for him. The first time I ended up in the hospital for this guy. He's my oldest son.
Your oldest son.
Yeah, with a murder charge years ago. But folks sent me down by way of plane, train. They said, Ty, get down there. And I did all I could.
But you know what that shows you?
With the state of Georgia.
People can change. You can change. Forget about yesterday and just think about today and keep the Lord in your life.
Well, I say,
what's his name? Anton.
Anton. He's a Rastafari, and we got you know the Rasta.
He's
you know
himself.
I mean? He's a Rasta.
Me.
Rasta.
Well, let's introduce him now. Come on now.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your prayers. He's here. He's like 2 years out of jail, off of, you know, doing the right thing. So I didn't say let's get him on here.
I wanted to bring him on because, you know,
but
this show is not about just
You can,
old folks like you. It's about us young folks, right?
yeah.
Welcome to the show.
You know, all that
Okay,
talking
good.
about
Yeah.
helping everybody else. I want y'all to know I try to help my own too. So this is my son in the flesh, and one of them, and he's here.
Now let me tell you, look,
That
I'm gonna
shirt
cut,
though.
I'm
I
gonna cut
didn't
into
give
you.
him that shirt though.
I want him to tell about that shirt, but let me tell you why I wanted him to be here. I wanted to get a perspective from you about what's going on in the world. You know, we give our perspectives all the time, but first you need to tell us. We know your uncle is Pastor D.
Right.
Okay, and you know, your father and Pastor D. You know, they can talk a little bit a lot. You know, so I got to cut him off every now and then.
Exactly.
But no, he does a
They
great
long-winded.
job. Long-winded.
Yeah.
Tell us about this shirt you got on first.
Well, this shirt was given to me by Pastor D.
Okay.
And he told me that I could put my own label or whatever on it. So
Okay.
I really don't have too much history of the shirt. You know, I just know that it was clean, and you know, he passed it down to me. You know, that's what he tend to do. Like once a week, he'd go buy up a whole bunch of new stuff.
Okay.
And he'd come get me, nephew, come get all this right here. You know what I mean?
Like that.
So he really didn't give me too much history on it. You know, I just.
Well, I know. I think that NOYB says not in your own backyard, something like that.
Not in your own backyard?
Yeah.
Well, we just gonna, you know what, I'm gonna go with that.
Okay, you can go with that.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
gonna go with that. Not in your own backyard.
Well, tell us about yourself.
Well, my name is Anton Johnson. You know, I come from Georgia. I moved up here, about 2 years ago. And you know, I just come out from doing 10 years. You know, first week out, getting shot. You know what I mean? Just. You know, just a whole lot of stuff. I really don't want to get too long-winded because this is my first time on TV, and I'm kind of real
You good.
nervous
You're
or
fine.
whatever right now. But, you know, I moved up here, and for this city to be so small like this, you know, it's a lot of violence going on in this city.
Yeah.
You know, and I've lived I rented my first house on the north side over there on 3313. North Washington Street.
Okay.
And I used to come down there to my dad's house on 27th Street. And it'd be surprising me how nothing go down on his block.
Right.
But you can look up like 2 blocks and it's just all out war, you know what I mean? And it's just funny to me, like, you know what I mean? Then I got a cousin that I be with, you know what I mean, over there on 30th. And it's just a lot of violence going on for this city to be too small.
What are some of your thoughts why violence is taking place in the city? I think I have some thoughts, but tell me what your thoughts are.
My main thoughts be that I just feel like these young people ain't got nothing to do.
Okay.
That's the main focus, right? That they ain't got nothing to do. So when you just ain't got nothing to do or no job to go to, you just feel like you ain't got no hope or no chance to, you know what I mean, provide for your family. So the next thing is to turn to the streets or whatever the case may be. You know what I mean? You got to do what's necessary,
Right.
what you feel as though necessary. But I'm going to tell you, man, for real, being behind the walls and doing time and all that, that ain't what's up.
It's not worth it, is it?
Because most of these little young dudes, they ain't going to last.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Nah, they ain't going to last.
Do you think they believe too much and try to act out a lot of what they see on TV and they hear in rap songs, or is it that, or?
That play a major part into it. Yeah,
Okay.
you're right. They listening to all these rap songs and all these old negative messages that these rappers are sending, and they trying to act it out.
Okay.
And I remember I used to be doing that.
You used to do it.
I used to be listening to.
Wait a minute. Tell him. You told me that when you go in the club, you somebody, right?
Yeah.
Somebody.
I said,
Yeah.
let's define.
What do you mean by that?
I said, let's define somebody, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
I said, you ain't Hove, because remember, I own the club, right?
Right.
So they don't stop it. They say, move it around, somebody's coming in. You not that somebody, right?
Right.
So, and then I said, well, are you making it rain with like 100 grand, you know,
Nah, I ain't
20
doing it.
stacks? So you not that somebody.
Well, that's an important point because
Yeah.
I found out that most of the young guys out on the street selling drugs or doing things of that nature, the average income is only about $20,000 a year.
Right.
You know?
Right. And that ain't about nothing, man. It ain't really worth to lose your life over. You know what I
Okay.
mean? Like I said, man, like these little young cats are not ready for prison And then they got the new thing in prison now. If you ain't, you got to get with something. It ain't really.
What do you mean with something? What's that mean?
You got to get with some kind of organization because you're going to be scared.
Okay.
So you got to run. Most of them are running the Muslim.
Okay.
Getting locked up wanting to be a Muslim. You know what I mean? Or wanting to be a Blood or a Crip or whatever. They can't.
That's for protection, though.
Oh, most definitely. Most definitely. You know what I mean? Because they ain't got no pistols or nothing in prison.
So what would you say to the young people
I
out
see.
here, you know, things they should be looking forward to doing? And
Man, striving to get a job, man, take care, do it the right way. Just go get a job, man, or, you know what I mean, get under the radar. You know what I mean? Get under the radar, man, stay free.
okay.
You know, that's all I can tell these young people out here. Cause guess what? You gonna see me. I be on 7th Street. I be on the West Side. I be in the heart of where it's going down at. But don't nothing come my way. You know what I mean? Cause I don't give off that kind of energy.
Okay.
Everybody know me as I give respect. Cause prison taught me that.
Okay.
I gotta give respect. You know what I mean? Cause I think you showed me that about the power of the tongue in the Bible.
I was going to ask you about what do you think about your dad here?
You know, I was back here summers ago. I used to come up here every summers and spend summers with him.
Okay.
And even when I was
Was he cheap?
Yeah.
Yeah. But you spent some summers with him. What did he do during those summers?
He was creating CTAC, Churches Take a Corner.
Okay.
When I was a little boy, and I remember him fighting, trying to get that off the ground, and you know, still doing what he doing today, going to meetings every day.
Were you running away from him instead of running to him?
No, actually, I guess it was a household situation that went down. I don't really know. I still to this day really don't know why I was put, you know what I mean, sent back to Georgia. You know, but I was a mama's boy.
Okay.
And I still am a mama's boy. You know what I mean? She called me, I'm out the day or tomorrow. You know what I mean?
You going?
But yeah, because I was raised up with her.
Right.
But she tried to push me on him.
Okay.
Because she knew his lineage and she knew how powerful his lineage was, and she didn't want me to miss that.
Okay. So tell me a little bit about your son. Why don't you talk to your son right here? You always have a lot to say. You're a little quiet tonight.
Because my son is talking, right?
Okay. All right. Well, now he's quiet. I want to hear what you had to say.
Let me just say I love you.
That's powerful.
I love you too, Dad. You know.
Say, I'm glad to have you here. The first, today, no matter what happened in the past, you're here, and you're saying to a lot of folks that I can't say it to, don't go to prison.
Right.
Get an education, man. And it doesn't have to be college, but learn something. Then I want to thank you for showing up today. Today was the first time he showed up, and we went to a task force meeting.
Oh, that's nice.
And it was called, what was it, Work a Day.
Work a day, earn a pay.
Work a day, earn a pay. And for guys like Anton who, you know, find it hard to get back in the system, and he said something to me that I didn't even think about. He told them, he said, my dad took me to Walmart, so I filled out an application. I knew they weren't gonna call me. I didn't think he was thinking like that.
Right. Okay.
And he said, I went because my dad wanted me to go.
So what happened?
But he didn't get the job.
But
So
guess what? You keep believing and keep
He will have
fighting
a
a good
job.
fight.
Yeah.
You're going to get a job.
So
right?
I'm just
There's
saying,
help out here.
we say that to say to the people, give in, give out, but never give up.
That's right. Why don't we end it on that? Anything else you want to say? I'm really glad to have you here. Happy to
Why you
meet
bring
you.
my son on here, man? You want me crying? or
Yeah, I
something?
want you crying.
Yeah.
No. I think what it is these are the things that, you know, people had to see and understand that it's all about family.
Right.
When all else fails, you come back to your family. Your family's gonna help put you on the right track. And particularly, you got a good father here who's willing to help you. Right. And I think that says a lot.
Right.
I want to thank you for coming on. You're gonna have to come back.
Thank you. I thank you for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. We're gonna go to a short break. Stay tuned to The Bottom Line, and we'll be right back.
Welcome back to the second half of The Bottom Line. As promised, for our health section, we're going to talk a little bit about domestic violence awareness as well as breast cancer awareness. Heavy topics, heavy topics.
Very heavy.
And we'll start with domestic violence awareness. And as we were talking prior to coming on the show, we found out that we have some personal connections to domestic violence. And as a matter of fact, I got a phone call the other day. I'm not quite sure what they thought I could do, but I knew some people, and that's the benefit of me being here on Channel 28 is being able to make connections. And I didn't have the answer, but I knew a few people who I thought might have the answer. And between me and about 5 or 6 other ladies, we were able to get a family housing over the weekend. I got that text this morning, and I was just so excited and so thankful, you know, to have people who were just willing to do what they could on a Friday night so that somebody didn't have to sleep in their car again. And it really hits home. And I know that this month is both Breast Cancer Awareness Month and Domestic Violence Awareness Month. But I want to say up front, the conversation needs to happen beyond October. We need to talk about this as much as possible. When I was a school teacher, I didn't wait until February to talk about Black history subjects.
Right.
You know, if I had a second grader who asked me a question in September, then we talked about it then. When you are dealing with subjects such as domestic violence and breast cancer awareness, the conversation needs to be ongoing. Many people are dealing with these issues and they are suffering in silence, and it is unnecessary. As we have our talk, the control room, they're going to put up some resources for you. Again, please jot the numbers down and get help. So, Abundance, you want to join in and just kind of share your
Absolutely.
perspective?
I have my perspective is one that is personal. And my first understanding of domestic violence, I was just too young. I was a toddler. Saw my mom getting hit all up against doors and things like that. And next thing you know, there was a divorce, and you don't put 2 and 2 together.
Right.
Later on, like you see things on TV, you hear certain things, but next thing you know, I'm in a relationship, and I hear about things going on from the street, not necessarily from him. Later on, I'll ask about those things, and he was like, yeah, I used to do this because she got in my face. And we're not taught by our mothers that that's not okay.
Right.
You know, these are things that you might share with your aunties and your uncles, your aunties or girlfriends, but it's just kind of like, even with the sexual abuse, it's like you don't bring it outside the family. So nobody said these are the things that you need to be looking for. If a brother talks about this is what he's done, most likely he might still do that unless
Right.
he's had some type of counsel. So I'm thinking this is the sob story. I'm kind of like, I'm going to save him. I'm going to be different. I'm not going to talk too loud. I'm going to respect everything that he has to say. And next thing you know, my mom's picking me up from the emergency room, you know, with bleeding in the kidneys, or eyes are blackened, or teeth, just all types of things going on. And I was still hiding it. And I was hiding it from her, because she still had some type of trauma. So she didn't really know how to deal with it. They just be like, you got to get out of that situation. But they didn't really have many resources. So the resources that I found were things that are right here locally. And at first it was kind of like, I didn't want to be going to a psychiatrist. Some of them are not like, some of them are just caseworkers. That's where I found refuge. It was, you know, you go to apply for assistance, whether it's Medicaid, food stamps, or whatever, and you start talking, and sometimes people are in tune, and they're like, you need to talk to this worker over here.
Right.
And it was actually like a social worker that is, I guess they're licensed to do certain things, and there's also free things like SOAR that you can go to. I found that out because I didn't have any finance. I was a single mother. I was attending Dell State University and in this situation, and I just didn't know how to get out.
Right.
I really didn't see that I really thought that I was the problem. I just thought I was too loud.
Right.
You know, I just thought that I was too outspoken. And I saw my mother was outspoken, and her mother was outspoken, and my aunties, and every woman that this happened to, we talk too loud. Just black women, we're just too loud. So,
And it
that's
can
my
be a
perspective.
generational situation, especially if nobody's talking about it.
Right.
I think that's part of the problem, is that we're not talking, and we can be so reserved that when we need professional help, we don't even want to go there to talk about it. So
We're
for-
ashamed.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
absolutely.
Go ahead, Denise.
No, I was just going to say that I appreciate you for being so transparent because there's somebody at home right now that is listening to what
And
you're
saying,
doing
"That's
and
my
seeing
story."
your courage,
Right.
and that's giving them strength. And so I appreciate you for doing that, you know, because I think that that's strong. But I just have one question. Like when you were going through that, at what point did you realize that it was an issue, or did you?
I just didn't realize.
Or was it your mother
I was
kind of?
22, 23. I'm 40.
Okay.
I'm just now realizing it's an issue. It's a journey.
It's a
It
journey.
really is. And eventually things happened where I wasn't able to be with that person anymore. But I'm now having these types of conversations with my daughters. Like, you learn and you're like, there are things that are called inappropriate touching. I was told, you know, keep your legs closed, not until you're married, all of these things, but nobody said, and don't let him, inappropriate touching also means don't let him touch you. Don't let him hit you. Nobody's supposed to hit you.
Right. That's not love.
This is not something
not
that
love.
was discussed. And that if you continue to do these things, then maybe you have an issue with self-love or self-esteem.
Absolutely.
Like nobody really taught me to turn these things back around. Like I did have an issue with self-esteem. I did have an issue with my own self-love. What the heck is self-love?
Right.
Like we're not taught those things.
Right.
What is self-love?
Right.
So, like I said, I'm now 40. It's just been the past 5-6 years where I'm like, I can look at myself in the mirror and be like, I'm beautiful. If some, like you
Isn't
said
that
the
a
other
great
day,
feeling? Isn't that a great
you said all
feeling?
you have to do is say thank you. You can't receive a compliment sometimes because you don't necessarily,
right,
it
right,
doesn't
right.
vibrate. But I will never ever forget when you said that. Just say thank you. Like yes, because that means you're open to receive.
Right.
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 We're not even taught how to be open to receive when somebody's saying, honey, that's just not all right.
Yeah.
You need some help. We'd be like, get off. Like, why? Why are
The
you trying to
defense
tell me?
goes up. Right.
Right. So,
Yeah.
And when we talk about domestic violence, it's not always physical.
That's
It can be emotional.
Emotional.
That's
It can
like
be
the first
it's about
sign.
control, it's about power, because I know for my situation, I didn't know what I was in until I got out of it.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
And it was a journey. It was a journey.
Let me
No
ask,
friends. They don't want you to have any friends.
Oh no.
Right.
Can't talk to your
Because
mom
it's
all of a sudden.
isolation. And the benefit,
Isolation is a
right,
part of it.
the
That's what I was
benefit
gonna
of
bring up.
isolation is that if you think about it, if there's a child predator and the school bus lets some children off and 20 children go to the right and one child goes to the left, the predator is going to go after the one child who went to the left. So if somebody who is in an abusive relationship can keep you isolated so you don't feel comfortable sharing it with an aunt, with a friend or something like that, that works to their advantage. So isolation can be very deadly, deadly.
Oh, absolutely. Now, I'm just curious. I haven't been in an abusive relationship, but I have been associated with people in my family that have been in abusive relationships. And I've seen, and when people are going through any type of issue, it becomes a family issue. And so everybody kind of goes through it together.
Right.
But still, you kind of feel alone in your situation, right? Like you said, you weren't able to talk to anybody about what you was going through. You didn't really have an outlet, right?
And when I did have an outlet, it was just like, girl, please, that's just what.
Right,
just
right.
be
Like it's
quiet.
supposed to
what
happen.
did you do?
Let him be a man.
What did you do?
I'm like, right. I'm just like, this is just
So-
too much.
So, I mean, what kind of advice would you give, having been on your journey and been through what you've been through, and regardless of how long it took you to get to this place, you're here, you know? So that's what it's about, and that's what we focus on. But how do we get other women and children to this place? Like, what
Can
are
I-
the
can I
first
start?
steps?
I think it's really important that you recognize the signs.
Right.
Recognize the signs of abuse
Which are,
and
I mean, just some examples.
signs of abuse. Controlling,
right.
being controlling, being paranoid. The minute that you come in the house 5 minutes late, where were you? That type of
through your
thing.
phone.
Right. Just insecurity on their part.
Insecurity.
Right.
Right.
So those are some
Those are
signs.
good.
And what I want to do, because they're giving me the cue that we need to wrap it up, is that it not only impacts the adults, it impacts the children who witness it.
Yes.
Who witness
So
it.
for me as an adult, it wasn't physical abuse, it was an emotional thing. But as a child,
They hurt too.
as a 12-year-old, I lost my sister to domestic violence. And so she was 36 and I was 12, and that had a direct impact on me as a preteen, because I decided I'm not going to date anybody who had that same profession as her boyfriend, because is this something that they all do?
Oh, right.
And, so it impacts the children, and sometimes children who witness it not only end up being on the receiving end of abuse, sometimes they're on the giving end of abuse. So if Abin, if you could put up those resources again for domestic violence, some of them also include counseling for families as well as children. So please take advantage of the resources right here. Also, if you are a person who knows somebody's dealing with domestic violence, a couple of things that you can do quickly to be a good friend is to, one, listen.
That's right.
Absolutely.
Listen, active listening. And understand that whatever decision your friend chooses, that's the right decision for them.
Right.
We can't impose our values and our decisions on somebody else. So,
It's a very
so,
hard situation
so
for
needless
our
to say, we
country,
need to
yeah.
keep this conversation going. So,
Absolutely.
but for right now, we better
Hold
take a
my
break
thoughts
before
over.
we all get in trouble.
I feel like we need to go into a moment
We'll be
of
right
prayer.
back.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the sports segment of the show. I want to start off this today by apologizing to all the Yankee fans out there, because I did them a great travesty by not mentioning the fact that one of the greatest Yankees ever to play the game passed away a few weeks ago. Yogi Berra, winner of 10 World Championships and 4 MVPs, was one of the greatest players to ever play the game. Our condolences go out to him and his entire family, as he was one of the greatest players of the game, not only a great Yankee. Okay, the WNBA. This has been a very exciting season for the WNBA, with Arlena Delle Donne winning the scoring title as well as the MVP. She led her Chicago Sky team to the playoffs, even though they faltered. Better luck next year. In the championship finals, a few nights ago, with the best-of-5 series tied at 1 game apiece, I was watching the game, and the game 3 was tied at 75 apiece. Maya Moore hit a three-pointer at the buzzer to win that game. Very exciting, to put our team up 2-1. Last night, Indiana pulled away in the fourth quarter to even the series to 2 games apiece. The deciding game 5 will be tomorrow night in Minnesota, and it should be a very exciting Hall-Ford game right down to the final buzzer. Okay, in college football, the Baylor Bears have moved up into the number 2 slot in the nation as they bury opponents under a barrage of points, as this is their best ranking ever. Baylor won their last game Saturday 66-7. Man, they are really cooking. Ohio State is going to have a hard time holding on to that if they keep this up. Okay, the top 10, Ohio State still number 1, Baylor 5-0, number 2, TCU at 6-0, number 3, Michigan State number 4, LSU number 5, Clemson number 6, Utah number 7, Florida State number 8, my Alabama Crimson Tide at 5-1, number 9, and Texas A&M number 10. Showdown this weekend, my Alabama Crimson Tide playing at Texas A&M. They'll probably climb up to the rankings with this win, because they're probably going to win that game. Baseball. Last week, my New York Yankees lost the playoff 1-game series and went on home. I knew they was going to probably do that because we needed a couple more hitters, and we probably need a couple of more starting pitchers. Houston moved on and are now battling the Kansas City Royals. Both Kansas City and the Kansas City Royals won. Also, the Toronto Blue Jays won today. Tying both those series, they're gone 5 games apiece. This is very exciting right now in baseball. Those teams are going down to the wire. NFL. There are 5 teams who remain undefeated after week 5. New England Patriots, Green Bay, Atlanta Falcons, Carolina Panthers, and the Cincinnati Bengals. And perhaps the most intriguing of these teams is the Cincinnati Bengals, who rallied from 17 points down in the fourth quarter to stun the defending conference champion Seattle Seahawks 27-24 in overtime to remain undefeated at 5-0. The Philadelphia Eagles won their game 39-17 yesterday, which, that's not a great big feat because the Saints were just plain awful. The NFC East will be won by a team with 9 or 10 wins, and now that could be any one of the 4 teams. In closing, I want to say that the NBA is underway and NHL. The Flyers lost their game last night in their opener. And in golf, the U.S. hangs on to win the President Cup last night, which, you know, that was pretty good. So good luck to everybody, and you guys have a good evening. Good night.
Welcome to the round table, and this is going to be really crazy, but we got a lot to talk about. We're going to do it quickly and get it all in. As you all know, we just celebrated, I'm not going to say 1 million man march. I'm going to say 2 million or more million person march, because it was not only men, but women, children, everybody. And, you know, everybody was concerned about the minister when he was saying justice or else. And I got a minister here today that's going to talk about the Honorable Louis Farrakhan, Minister Louis Farrakhan, and I got Minister Roberts here today. But before he goes, I want to show something, because we're talking about justice. I'm going to get us to abundance. Right. And then we're talking about justice about this tragedy that's happening in our country.
That we know of.
That we know of, right. And this is just happening over and over and over, and it's too much. But I'm going to go right to Minister Roberts to talk about the 2 million person march.
Let's before we do that, if I could, first of all, we want to thank the minister for his leadership.
That's right.
And the folks who worked to get us to Washington.
Yes.
It was not only, it was Hope, Mr. Bovell, and those folks, but under his leadership, Mosque number 35.
That's right, in my district.
And
That's right.
Yeah. Hallelujah.
Well, let's.
All right. Bless you, sir. Thank you so much for your leadership.
Oh, thank you. First of all, I would like to thank men like Brother Charles, Pastor Ty, and the Wilmington personnel, City Council, the mayor, and the brothers and sisters in Wilmington that made 10-10-15 possible.
That's right.
This is only the beginning. The Justice or Else is a movement that started October the 10th. So we are continuing this process until all has justice, freedom, justice, and equality. Now, because after 10-10, now we're focusing on the boycotting of Christmas.
That's
and as you know, or many of you may not know, our brother Martin Luther King desired to boycott Christmas when our children got murdered in Birmingham, Alabama, in the church. He wanted to boycott Christmas. So Minister Farrakhan desired to honor Martin Luther King's request. And we as black people, brown people, we produce out of the American economy $1.1 to $1.5 trillion. During Black Friday to January 6th, we spend and give away $400 to $500 billion to our oppressors to continue them ruling us. So Minister Farrakhan is asking us to boycott not Jesus, but to boycott Christmas and to keep our money in our pocket because they not treating us right.
And Minister, that is the or else that people were worrying about.
That's right.
They thought the or else was going to be, let's start going
Killing
crazy
folk.
in the neighborhood. Go ahead, Abundance.
Yeah, people thought that the other part was going to be violence. It was going to
it's
be
not that.
this so-called racist. We're just going to go after Europeans, white people, whatever you want to call them. The else is exactly what he said, hit him in the pocket. You know, Honorable Elijah Muhammad came with an economic plan in '64. This Justice or Else came out way before now. We're just doing the work that the messenger gave us to do. And so the Honorable Louis Farrakhan said, you know, to just give it back to Jesus. You know what I mean? We standing in those lines and all those types of things. That has nothing to do with the Christ consciousness. That has nothing to do with Jesus.
Well, he also talked about the fact that if you don't live right and do right by people, then the wrath of God will come on you.
That's exactly
That was the or else that we don't want to miss. When you talk about or else, before we even got to the mandate of the boycott, which is the physical part. He talked about the spiritual and the mental aspect, and I was so impressed when I was there because not only did the minister look good for 82 years old,
Oh, he looked
not
great,
only
yes.
did the folks who were brought there, like the brother, what's our bishop from Baltimore?
Jamal
Bryan
Right.
brought families there who
Right,
were
that's right.
impacted, and they began to talk about a mindset,
Right.
a change
That's what
that
it is.
we must
In the mind.
a change
Right.
that we must embrace in our own communities.
Right. There you
If
go.
we want other folks to respect us, we
Right.
must
Right.
respect ourselves.
Right.
And it
That's right.
first starts with the not in your house. It is in your house. Meaning
that's the
in
most
this
important part.
house
Right.
first.
Right.
Your heart and your head, and then your home.
He talked
and
about
then your
education.
community.
Right.
He
They
talked
say,
about
"Where's our
building
love?"
your own entrepreneurship.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Jump
Absolutely.
in, minister.
And I want to go on what Brother Pastor Ty said. The other or else is whether we know it or not, God is with us today. He's with the despised and the rejected and the unwanted. That is us, and He wants to make us the model by which the whole human family could follow after. So the or else is, as the minister says, the calamities are going to increase because God desires that we go. And watch the weather. He continues to teach us and tell us to watch the weather. South Carolina rejected Minister Farrakhan's. He desired to go there, but they did not want him. Charleston, South Carolina. Look at what's happening to Charleston, South Carolina as we speak. 11 trillion gallons of water fell, and it's, as they say, biblical proportions. You have a man of God in our midst today, and not just black people Saturday came.
No,
it
that's
was
right.
the whole human
The whole
family.
rainbow.
So it dispelled the notion that Minister Farrakhan is just for black people. It was black, brown, red, yellow, and poor whites there, and this represents Joseph's coat of many colors.
Well, what did he talk about? Spreading the wealth, abundance. About if you're rich and you're not helping somebody down to
That's
pull them
right.
up,
There
what
you go.
happens?
Right.
Talk to that.
I didn't get to hear that because I was back doing some
Oh,
work.
you was working at
right,
your
but I
business.
made sure I sucked up that energy. Was
Yeah,
out
it
posting
was a
first
lot of
thing in the
energy,
morning.
wasn't it? It
Well,
was
when he talked about wealth and the distribution of wealth, from what
Right.
I understood, he talked about be careful because not by might nor by power, but by my spirit, says the Lord of hosts. And
Right.
be whatever you sow, that you will also
That's right.
reap.
Right, right.
So be conscious of what you sow into this earth.
Right.
You'll reap that same very thing.
Right.
And then he talked about now let's go to work. It was the same
That's right.
Well,
kind
we all
of
got
thing.
to go to work.
20
You know, but
years
he didn't
later.
just say throw it on somebody else. He said, look inner self first
That's right.
before you
That's
go
right.
outwardly.
And
Absolutely.
we must come back to our communities. The 10,000
Right.
fearless that Minister Farrakhan is asking.
I'm glad
are
you're
the-
talking about
That's
that
right.
because the Ku Klux Klan
Yeah, they thought
was
we was
getting
gonna
their
kill all
guns
white
ready,
folks.
and they were saying,
wasn't
well,
about that.
It wasn't,
Yeah,
no. He wants
The message is
10,000
stronger than
fearless
that.
To
Yeah.
go in our communities,
Right.
to stand between the gunfire, between the brother killing the brother, and
Right.
the brother
That's
gang
right.
banging the other brother. So
Right.
this is what the 10,000 fearless that he's asking us to do. It ain't about killing.
It was
our
never
enemy.
a
And it
declaration
wasn't
of
about
war
that.
on white
That-
people.
It
Right.
never
Now
was
let's take
about
2
that.
We ain't even
minutes.
got that
I want to
kind of
take 2
spirit.
minutes I want to close up on this. And when we talk about these police shootings,
Yes.
look at this. Well, talk to this. It is
So,
chilling.
Look.
Look.
Nah, that's
Before the Jeremy
energy.
McDowell shooting,
And this is-
we had 45 shootings ourselves in this city, and then on top of that, to look around this country and see
Right.
police shootings and to know this is horrific. So we are not abandoning this.
No.
Come Thursday night, we're asking folks to be at the PAL Center at 6 o'clock.
6 o'clock.
Right.
And the planning continues.
That's
Brother
right.
Dwight Davis says, while some people are playing checkers, others are playing chess.
Right.
Well, and we, with that planning, I'm sure that we'll come out and say we're going to rally down Rodney Square because we had to continually talk
That's
about this
right, Brother
situation
Charles.
because just because a person doesn't put their hands up doesn't mean the police officer has the right to shoot them.
That's right.
Just because a person may have a self-inflicted wound or was going to commit suicide, doesn't mean they end up dead at the hand of the police. These things cannot happen. It could be my child, your child, somebody else's child.
Right.
So we need training.
Yes.
And we plan to train the police, and we plan to train our neighbors.
And when is that meeting
neighborhoods.
again?
Thursday, 6 o'clock at the PAL. We're continuing the LOC, local organizing committees. The tape will be, the DVD will be available to those of you that would like it. We have to plan boycotting. We have to plan to get our communities
And it's
together.
open to everybody.
Everybody.
It's not
That's right.
just Muslims.
That's
And we're
right.
going to
not
talk
just
more about
Christians.
this on this show right now. We got to throw it back over to Nicole and Denise so they can close this out.
Thank them, man.
And I
for-
want to
for
thank them
working
for
with
the,
Great job.
the-
They did a
yeah,
great
great
job.
job.
them
and
working with
the
that
roses are great.
sister in trouble.
Let's throw it back over there.
I hope you took me at my word that this was going to be a jammed-packed show. It truly, truly was. And again, the conversations will continue. Before I turn it over to Deneen, who's going to close this out, I just want to say a couple quick things about Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and that conversation will continue. Ladies, get your mammogram. If you are 40 and up, you should be getting your mammogram, or if you have family history, get your mammogram. The other thing, ladies, if you feel that something is wrong, you sense you have an inner gut feeling that something's not quite right, and you go to your physician and they say, you don't need a mammogram, you don't need an MRI, go to another doctor. Ms. Deneen.
Well, Nicole, we had an awesome show.
It was.
This was an awesome show. I hope the viewers at home enjoyed it. We want to thank our special guest, Mr. Antone Johnson.
That's correct.
And a major contribution to our roundtable, Minister Roberts. We absolutely want to thank them for attending tonight, and we hope that you at home enjoyed us. Last week was actually Mental Health Week. And so we're going to have a guest on next Monday at 8 p.m. sharp talking about mental health in our community. So be sure to join us next Monday from 8 to 9 p.m.
Right here at the bottom line.
That's right. That's the bottom line.